So today it's episode 9. Today we're gonna talk about, how I was robbed on my solo travel last Christmas in Puerto Rico, and then I'll give you some solo travel safety tips. Okay, we're getting started. It's so great to see you guys. It is so good to see everyone. Here is episode 9 of Stories from Wanderland, and Stories from Wanderland is my travel series where I talk about living, loving, and traveling abroad. So, what we're talking about this week, it's Christmas time, it's Christmas season. Are we all prepped and ready for Christmas? Fun fact, I don't really like the whole Christmas decoration thing. I've never really liked it, even as a child. Yesterday I was talking to my mommy and she was like, it was just so annoying that I had this girl child and I had these dreams of decorating the house and doing, all the Christmas prep with my daughter. And this daughter was like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not interested. You can do that. I'll watch you. Do not ask me to participate. So for me, Christmas prep is gonna be, I don't know, I will maybe have a nice dinner. Maybe I'll order something from Yummy Cafe. Yummy Cafe, what's on your Christmas menu? So what happened? Let's jump into the story of last Christmas. I traveled to Puerto Rico. It was good. I traveled to Puerto Rico for a travel seminar, and I was robbed in Puerto Rico. Part of it was mainly, a lot of it had to do with my actions or inactions, and we're just gonna talk about like all the feels, what happened, and how I felt after the whole thing. So I was in Puerto Rico for a travel seminar by Glo Atanmo. She's my mentor, and it was actually at the end, after the travel seminar, I had met up with some other travel bloggers, and we decided we're gonna, do a little tour of Puerto Rico. Anyway, so we were to meet up at Starbucks in Old San Juan very early in the morning. I came before, and when I got there, I was like, okay, let me order a coffee, normal thing. Let me get a croissant and a coffee. And so I'm so ashamed of this. I had a lot of stuff in my hand, like a typical travel tourist. I should know better. I had a lot of stuff in my hand, and I decided I was going to organize, all my stuff. And so while I was waiting for my order at Starbucks, I started organizing my bag. And I had my phone in my hand, right? Just kind of like this, have my phone in my hand. And organizing everything, I put it in front of me, right? And I packed everything together. And just as I was about to take up my phone again, my Starbucks order came through, and they're like, oh, here's your coffee. You can get, your sugar, your cream, your whatever down the aisle. Guess what I did? I was like, oh, okay, great. Grab my bag, because in my brain, I just finished packing up my bag, so everything's in there, right? Grab my bag, grab my coffee, literally walked 5 steps. I don't think it was even 5 steps. Walked 5 steps to get sugar, cinnamon, cream, etc. And then I looked down and I was like, oh, what's the time? Because I need to meet up with my travel bloggers, with my other travel friends that I met at a conference. And I was like, where's my phone? Walk, left the phone. Exactly, Candice. I walk, leave the phone. Left the phone on the counter. I do not think 2 minutes passed. I look at the counter, no phone. I walk back, my 5 steps, walk back to the counter, no phone, no nothing. It was just me. I know it was just like me and a couple had came in after me and a guy. And the guy was no longer in the Starbucks when I walked back for my coffee, and so my phone was stolen in Starbucks in the morning. It was so I don't think for me it was the biggest part. So I wasn't like, how I felt realizing that my phone was stolen was, I felt really embarrassed and really ashamed. Those are like my first emotions, because one, I'm a solo traveler, right? I teach Caribbean women how to travel solo. I also write for the travel safety section for World Nomads, which is one of the biggest travel insurance companies in the world. And I made this very silly, basic mistake, right? Which is human, but I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed, because also I'm meeting up with other travel vloggers who, you know, I'm meeting up with people in my industry, and I'm gonna have to tell them that my phone was stolen. Somebody stole my phone while I was on vacation, and it's because I left it for 10 seconds. So, you know, I felt I was like really embarrassed. I don't think you guys understood the embarrassment that I had. I have not, it actually took me a while to say that I was robbed. I kept on, I think for all of this year, maybe up until like summer or something, I kept on saying that I lost my phone. I didn't lose my phone, like, you know, I didn't like misplace it or anything. It was stolen. But I felt so much like shame, because I felt like I should know better. I couldn't actually tell anyone that I was robbed on vacation because of a silly mistake, which is human, and you know, it's fine. I just couldn't. And so for that whole trip, I could not come to terms with the fact that me, a solo traveler and a travel safety writer, was in this situation. Candy says, life lessons, my dear. You can now help and guide persons about the possibility of being robbed. If you hadn't done it already, write about the experience. So I haven't written about the experience yet, because like I said, Candice, I could not come to terms with it. But maybe I'll write it now. I'll take your advice and maybe I'll write about it now. So what happened next? So after I was robbed, after they stole my phone, they stole my phone in Puerto Rico, and you know, all the travel blogger friends, they came and they were like, yo Diedre, we can't get you on the phone. I'm like, that's because it was just stolen like 5 minutes ago. And they're like, what? And so I had to like go about like shutting down, you know. I was like, you know, I honestly don't care about the phone. It's just a phone. I'm not like, it was a good phone and I really liked it. And I lost some of my photos, but thank God, because I was hooked up, I was synced to the cloud. Then, you know, I still saved some of my travel photos, most of it. Travel tip, make sure you're synced to the cloud and upload your photos all the time. But I was synced to the cloud, and so I wasn't like too worried about losing my travel photos. And it was just a phone. I could get back a phone. You know, but what I was like really afraid of was like, you know, my cards, a few of my cards were linked to my phone, and just trying to like lock it down. That was like the thing that I was most stressed out about. And my Amazon was like way open, and I'm like, oh my god, what if they just go on my Amazon app and just order, fuck all, just order everything on Amazon and run up my cards, and also all my family member cards that are on my Amazon account. And so those were like some of the things that I was like really stressed out about. So I went the whole morning in the car, arguing, trying to find someone from Amazon, arguing with Amazon, you know, trying to get into my email to shut down things. So fun thing, for my email, they're like, oh, for your security, we're sending a code to your phone. And I'm like, you have logged in from a strange location. For your security, we're gonna send a verification code to your phone. And I'm like, I don't have a freaking phone. Yes, I'm in a weird location because I'm on freaking vacation. So yeah, that was like trying to hack into my phone. I had to go into a friend's Facebook account to get to my account, to then send a message on Facebook. I also did not have my laptop with me, which was more linked to my phone. They're like, oh, all the devices and the location is just all new. We're gonna just send things we're gonna send a code to your email. We're gonna send a code to your phone. I'm like, I can't get into any of these things. So that wonderful security process was actually quite a hindrance. I had to do a lot of things. I had to like go use my friends' information to put up a Facebook, to message all my family, to be like, yo, phone stolen, phone lost. Well, actually I told them phone was lost. Phone lost, I'm okay. I'm actually going on a tour around Puerto Rico, so I'll talk to you tonight. I won't be able to talk to you. You'll have no contact with me. Peace out. Then, thank God I remembered some of their phone numbers. I had to like write that down with my friends. Then I went and I took out all the money because the card that I had was like a travel card. And so generally when I travel, I use a specific card to travel, so I just like transfer money to that card. And so that was one smart thing that I did. And so I just took the money from that card, which would be linked to most of my other accounts. And then, you know, went and attempted to call Digicel at home, and, you know, went to shut down the phone. Yeah, that was my ordeal and this happened last year December, or actually around this time, actually, if I'm not mistaken. It's about this time. Definitely in December last year, 1 year ago in Puerto Rico. I don't know who's on chat. Has anybody had any like, I don't know, Dave or Candice, have you had any like sort of like travel accidents that happened while you were traveling? Oh yeah, yes, let's talk about this. I'm asking my brother to join the chat, but I don't know if he's gonna join. Join the chat and come tell me about the time when he left. He forgot his why did you decline? Anyways, he doesn't want to be on my So my brother also left. He came to Jamaica for vacation. He was on vacation and he left his MacBook Air right on the bench. I drove to pick him up and he left it, and we were like almost home, and he was like, where's my laptop? Where's my MacBook? And he just ran, and it was in front of the police station at the airport. And I was like, you know, they stole that, right? You're not gonna get that back. And I was like, okay, we could drive back, but it's gone. It's gone. It's been like 45 minutes. It's gone. Of course, we drove back to the airport, and you know, of course, it was not there. Yeah, it's a funny thing when you know better, and because of just human mistakes, you know, because of just, you know, human nature, you just forget something and you get caught up and 30 seconds goes by. And I think it's like that, I don't know, for me it was just that shame of I know better, so this should not have happened. That was like the biggest thing. So yeah, that was the biggest thing that I had to like, and I had to sort of like journal and, you know, like really meditate on it, for that process, to like get over that embarrassment of that I should have known better and not put my phone, you know, I should have first put my phone in my bag in like a pocket and secure it, and then do the other things, because the other things was just like paper, and you know, it was less important than my phone, so I should have prioritized. And then yeah. Oh, let's talk about your ear infection. Yes, Candice, we're gonna talk. Let's talk. Candice went to Ottawa for a few days and got an ear infection. How was that? She don't want to talk. Nobody wants to talk today. Okay, so since nobody wants to share so much, let us get into, I have three tips for, you know, travel safety. I made two more tips. I think I gave 2 tips before, so I might include them. So travel safety tips. First one, which I said before, send back the request. Okay, Candice, we're sending it back. So Candice wants to join it. So we're waiting for Candice to join, tell us about her, you know, misfortune in Ottawa.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Sorry about the madness. Yeah. So when was it? It was about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I went to Ottawa for a conference. It was a conference for Optimist International.
A conference for Optimist International, you said?
Yeah, for Optimist International, and I went by myself. Of course, I would have known other people there because, you know, friends, colleagues, whatever.
Right.
Anyways, it was my first time going to Canada, and
I have been to Canada. So,
yeah.
First time going to Canada?
Yeah, first time going to Canada, and it was in the summer. I think it was in July.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there was some kind of storm, and my flight was delayed, right? Mm-hmm. And I was dead tired because that particular travel weekend, I was really busy, so I rushed to the airport. Like I was on almost zero sleep, you know. I was wired. Anyways, flight got delayed because there was a storm, I think in Toronto, because that's where my connection was.
Okay.
And it was delayed for a few hours, like some hours, right? All flights were grounded, and I fell asleep on the floor of the airport, I fell asleep. Yeah. And I had friends around, so, you know, it wasn't too bad. I felt okay falling asleep, but when I woke up, I was so disoriented. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. And then somebody brought me back to reality to be like, hey, you're okay. You're here. By the way, I don't know is where I get the infection, if it was in Jamaica or if it's while I was laying on the people in dirty floor.
Right, because airports are not clean.
We eventually got to the hotel, and because I was lacking all this sleep, I took a shower and then went straight to bed. The conference was a 3-day conference, but I got there about 2 days earlier because, of course, I want to see the sights and experience the place. So I sleep out the whole of the first day, Diedre. I was so tired, and I couldn't understand why I was that tired because at the time I never knew I was sick.
Right.
Anywho, sleep out the whole day. Then the second day come, I say, all right, and I never eat. I say, all right, Candice, get yourself together, go bathe, put on clothes, walk the streets, get some food, whatever. I did that, and I felt, you know, when you feel sick but you don't know why, I was saying to myself, maybe it's because I never did eat and I never did sleep properly.
Right.
I still wasn't saying, Candice, you rub up yourself on dirt everywhere, you catch germs.
Your ear wasn't hurting at this time because you said it ended up having ear infection.
No, at that time it wasn't hurting. So, conference actually started, engaging in all the activities, lingering, mixing with people, and I think it was day 2 of the conference. We had a few sessions, and then we had some kind of tour business. And I was walking with one of my friends or colleagues, and I felt so lightheaded. I didn't know where it came from. I felt like somebody literally knocked me in my face, and I was almost to the point where I was about to faint to the floor.
Yeah, I guess the equilibrium was like...
Exactly. So as it was, what's happening here? Why am I so off balance? I never go in any water. I take in my vitamins, but I still not adding up everything that happened before. Anywho, I tried to tough it out because, you know, by myself, first time in Canada, putting on a brave face, never want nobody to say, you know, I'm a week or whatever. So did the day, the rest of the activities for the day, went back to the hotel, and I said, hey, do you guys have a nurse on call, or where's the nearest pharmacy, something? I got back to the hotel late, so everywhere did lock, and there was no nurse there. So I said, you know what? There was a 24-hour, like a 7-Eleven type of thing. I went there, and I got some paracetamols, got something to munch on, I popped those, and then I went back to my room, and I fell asleep. But I told them at the desk, listen, I'm not feeling well. Just because I had to tell somebody. Of course, people who I went to the conference with knew. I enjoyed to tell the hotel people.
Right, but I think that was a good move to tell the hotel people.
Right, exactly. And on my contact sheet, on the contact form, I had given them my aunt's number. She lives in Ontario or somewhere. She lives in Canada.
Right.
And I reminded them, if anything, please check the form for my aunt. So if anything, you can call her, or if she might call the hotel. So after I did that, I went to bed, and then I called my mom, who was in Jamaica, and I called my aunt in Canada. So all of these people know what's going on. And while this is going on, cold sweat start washing me. I still don't know what's wrong. At one point, I said, all right, okay, this is new, this is interesting. The stories to tell the children, you know, but I'm going to bounce back from
Stories
this.
for the grandkids.
Right, so I fall asleep maybe for 20-ish minutes. My room phone ring. Is the guy at the front desk, and he said, Miss Stewart, your aunt would like to speak with you, you know, so I can put the call through. I talked to my auntie, and she's like, Candice, you okay? What's going on? And at this time, she can't reach me because it's not like he's walking distance,
right,
or I drive down the road. So I explained everything to her, and she's a nurse, or was a nurse, she's retired. So I explained everything to her, and she's like, did you go into a pool or something to mash up your ears? Or I said, no, I didn't do anything. I never even tell her that I sleep on the floor in the airport,
right?
You know, because it wasn't adding up. Anyways, the next day or the next night was my return flight home. So I make sure to pack up everything because based on how I felt, I didn't want to say I'm going to sleep and then wake up and then go late and miss everything. So I put everything together the night before and I slept. And when I woke up, Diedre, the whole of my shirt wet and it was cold. My room was cold. The whole of my shirt wet. The pillow was wet. I had a fever and I didn't know I had a fever. So the paracetamol that I took, that broke the fever. I woke up, I felt a little better, but I could still feel the vertigo, the lightheadedness. So I went about my day. I'm so happy it never happened in such a time as Corona because I would have surely quarantined my ass.
I mean, also, it should not. How was your flight? Because flying with an air infection should not have been going.
The flight home?
Yeah.
Well, I was eating. I tried to eat a lot to distract myself. It really wasn't fun, but I tried to be munching, distracting myself.
Yeah.
I had my phone. I was watching some videos. I was doing a lot of
Do you remember if like the pressure in the airplane made your sleep worse, or?
Yeah, I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't hear the flight attendants. I couldn't hear anything.
I can't imagine. I would just imagine that having an ear infection, like traveling, you have an ear infection, and you hop on a plane. Yeah, that must have been because the pressure in the airplane would probably like affect things. But talking about travel safety, I think you did like a couple of really good things. Going to pharmacy, first, and you did take you did take paracetamol. I would also suggest, like, when you're traveling, to carry some kind of medication that you're accustomed to, because sometimes in other countries the medication doesn't work. Fortunately, you were in Canada, which is relatively close in terms of like geographic distance. So like we also get France from Canada, and culturally it's relatively similar. So I think you're okay to find similar medication. But if you're traveling in other places,
your asthma probably would have dead.
I mean, maybe not, but if you're traveling to other places, it's not straightforward. So sometimes you should. That's one travel plan, which you did. And another thing that you did was to notify, the places that you were, to let them know so that they could be on alert. So that if you woke up too late, you gave them sort of like a schedule, or you gave them something seemed weird, then you might just be in your apartment or in your hotel by yourself with nobody knowing what's going on, and then you gave them to people around you in your like circle. So those are like two good tips I think that you did. But definitely for travel, you should travel to medication because each country is different. Like, so for example, when I lived in Colombia, it's different medications were even like in the US, for example. In Colombia, for example, I could get amoxicillin over the counter, which is an antibiotic. Like, you cannot get antibiotics over the counter in Jamaica. Like, you can get amoxicillin, I think it's amoxicillin. It's like a general antibiotic. Just regular. You just go in and you just get it for like, it was like 60 pesos? Like 60 US cents. It was like 50 cents. Like, I would just go and just buy antibiotics, just normal. Yeah. And so each country has like different things that are available. So like if you are traveling, one way to be safe is to have at least a little bit of your general medication. I don't always really don't. Well, I don't
usually well prepared. Sorry?
No, I interrupted.
I'm usually very well prepared for almost anything, but
I'm not this traveler.
Listen, that trip, it knocked me to the floor. And funny enough, when I got back to Jamaica, I went to my doctor and he said, you have vertigo, you have an ear infection. It's a good thing you come now because it was really bad. And the next day, after going to the doctor, I had to attend my friend's wedding and I was participating. I was on the bridal party. So me with my thick self in summer in a bridesmaid's dress.
That's like 30 seconds.
But it was good overall. I don't regret it, Life lesson. So now I know if I get sick again, I know what to do.
You know what to do, and yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks so much, Candy.
Not a problem.
We always have these wonderful travel stories.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
I feel like I'm usually like worried about are my stories, not interesting. I don't know. But then I always look forward to hearing, your stories, my followers' stories, like when they share on the chat. And so this is like usually fun for I'm like, it's fine. They'll just listen to my boring story because maybe it's not that interesting. But then I get to hear their story. So this is like part of like why I hop on to Wanderland. I just like it's usually just so relatable. There's always like something that we go through from each other. So thanks for sharing.
Not a problem, my dear. So continue with the tips.
Yeah, I am gonna continue with the tips.
All right, cool.
So that was Candy sharing her time and how she kept herself safe. How she kept herself safe while getting sick traveling abroad. And so one of the tips that she shared, that Candy shared, was that, make sure you inform people, notify people within your circle, but not just that, like people at your accommodation where you're staying, whoever you're interacting with. Even though she was a solo traveler, she was able to reach out to people to let them know that she's not feeling well and give them a heads up so that they could be alerted. So that's one thing that you can do when you're traveling and something goes wrong. Have a contact or in your mind a way, who am I going to contact if something goes wrong? If you're staying at like a hotel or an Airbnb, you can Google it as well. You can Google emergency contacts for the destination that you're in. In my experience, which was really strange, I don't think we have that culture in Jamaica. It's usually better to call the fire station than the police station if you need like emergency help. So like in Colombia, not in Colombia, in France, like anything, just call, appelle les pompiers, they're firemen, les pompiers, call the firemen. If something goes wrong, you have an allergic reaction, call the fire station, call the firemen, and then they will relate to the police team, or if necessary. Usually, a lot of times when you travel, if you contact the fire station, they are more responsive than the police. Which I don't think that's what we do in Jamaica. That's not what we're taught. We're taught to contact police, if anything. Or some countries may also have like just emergency places, like institutions that deal with emergencies. So make sure you have contact information for emergencies when things happen. Next travel tip I have is we were talking about researching contact information for have a contact emergency plan. And I would say, like, when you're going out, if you're like you're gonna be a solo traveler, right? When you're going out, research beforehand where you're gonna go. Like if you're gonna you want to go visit and look around your town, or you leave in your hotel or Airbnb or your hostel and you want to visit a place, just research and have like directions. Because if you get lost, just walk with confidence. Like seriously, just even if you make a wrong turn, heads up, shoulders back, just walk like I know where I'm going. You can't tell me nothing. And then get to a place that has maybe like a restaurant or something a little bit more public, and then ask for directions. That's like one tip I would say to be safe. I don't know if Wildheart, do you want to hop on to give a safety travel tip? I think you spoke with Sally once. Yes, Candy's walk like it wouldn't place. Are you interested in sharing a travel safety tip? I don't know if you're gonna respond. Are you in a place to respond, to hop on the live share? Also for confidence, I would also say there is one thing that I think she's not in a space to respond. But yeah, she does say confidence is everything. If you're a solo traveler, just walk like you own the place. You own the place, you know where you're going, you've been living here for so long, ain't nobody can tell you nothing. Another tip that I would say is somehow try to dress like locals. I'm not saying to, culture appropriate. It's okay. Thanks so much. I'm not saying to culturally appropriate, but try not to sometimes it's easy to spot a tourist. Like let's say for example, and I'm not talking about like racial. I'm just talking about like the way you dress. Observe, how the locals dress, and then try to adapt, whatever clothes you brought or whatever to that sort of to the environment. Just observe what's going on. I think that's like an underrated tip that people don't pay attention to. But when I was an expat, and I think I've been an expat solo traveler more than I've just been a tourist solo traveler. But when I was an expat, I feel like I got to see both sides of the coin. So I would easily spot tourists because of just how they're dressed. And it was just something that I realized that, in order to not stand out so much, maybe observe what's going on in the local environment. So that's one thing. Try to dress like locals. And also Google it if you're not sure. Yes, exactly. Well, it's important to research what is respectful or disrespectful in the country you'll be visiting. Yes, do that as well beforehand. Sometimes you might get locked up or fined in some countries if the way you dress is always is considered overly disrespectful based on your culture. One tip, which I don't really do, but a lot of my solo travel friends, they sometimes, solo female travelers, they sometimes recommend that they do it too. They wear a ring like an engagement ring when they're traveling abroad, because it's a way to, sadly, it's sometimes one of the things that you have to do to avoid or to reduce or prevent sexual harassment, and which is a reality for women travelers, you know. Wear a ring. If somebody approaches you, you could just say, you know, I'm engaged, or you can also decide that your fiance or your boyfriend, I'm waiting on my boyfriend, or I'm waiting on my fiance, I'm waiting on my husband. Husband sometimes just shut everybody up. I'm waiting on my husband because I'm not interested. I don't want to go with anything. That's one tip. You can wear a ring and pretend that you're married while you're on your solo trips. Sometimes people won't approach you in that way, and it does help to prevent some sexual harassment. The last tip that I would say, which is like pretty, it's the repellent. Yes, the ring just repels all the waste man them, just repel them, just like back off. A tip that people seem to like forget: write down the address for where you're going. Do not save it in your phone. Listen, your phone is not loyal. Phones are not loyal. Your phone battery is gonna die. It's going to die when you're on the road. Another one, if people ask if I'm solo, like an Uber driver, she says no. She always offers that she's meeting up with friends. So once you feel like a vibe where you don't want to give out too much information, you just say, yo, I'm meeting up with friends. No, I'm meeting up with friends. So that's also like a good tip. Thanks. But getting back to what I say, like really seriously write down the addresses. There's so many times. Or if you're at like a hotel or a hostel, ask for like a business card. They tend to have those. And you just take it with you, because when your phone dies, because it's gonna die, or when it's on 1%, or you're not able to make phone calls or whatever, you have that and you can present it to like a cab, or you can go to a restaurant to get directions, or you have some place to call. Phones are not loyal. They're not loyal. They're going to dead for you. They're going to mash up. They're going to broke down. The battery's going to die, and then you're going to be stranded in a country where you don't have to come in. So make sure you write down the address of where you're going, the road. Make sure you know where the road is. Make sure you know what the city or the area is called, and the name of the place where you're staying. That's it for the live. I think next week we're gonna talk about how I almost ruined Christmas dinner in France. Like straight up almost ruined Christmas for my host family in France. Candy says, you're right. I always have a little book with info written. I do most of these things and didn't actually identify them as good to-dos for travel. Yes, they're actually really good travel tips. It's just simple things that you do to like make yourself safe. It's so funny. It's just these simple things that you do that can really increase the chances of just you being safe and having like an even better time on your solo trip. So yeah, next week we're gonna be talking about how I almost ruined Christmas dinner. Oh my god. Yeah. And I will touch on the different Christmas cultural practices that I've been fortunate to participate in, and how different cultures around the world celebrate Christmas. Thanks for joining. See you next week on Stories from Wanderland. Ciao. Yes. See, Booty is saying, Tammy Booty is saying, always write down the addresses. Exactly. Write down the addresses, write down the phone numbers. Make sure you do that. So like I said, let me run through the tips. Write down your contact information. Try to dress like a local. Observe your environment, and try to dress the way that locals dress. Don't say must go and be a cultural appropriator, but just realize. So, like for example, I'm not talking. So, like, let's say in Jamaica, you're like an African American who comes to Jamaica. It's not easy, Yeah. Anyways, you come to Jamaica and you have on a big everything Jamaica, like a Jamaica t-shirt, Jamaica label t-shirt with Jamaica flag. Jamaicans don't dress like that. We will know that you're from the tourist. We don't be wearing big Jamaica flag unless it's like a football game or some track meet, some race running. We're not walking around with the flags on our back. when we go to other countries, though, we walk around with the flags on our back. But in our own country, we're not dressing like that. So it will be easy to spot you like, oh, this person is not Jamaican. That's like an easy thing. So make sure you have all the contact information and emergency contact plan in the country that you're in. So know who to call or what to do if there is an emergency. Many times in cases, it's actually you want to call the firemen and not the police for emergencies. The second travel tip that I said, safety, how to be safe when you're on a solo travel trip, is to try to dress like a local, observe what's going on in the environment. The third one, which one of you guys mentioned, was to, when you're traveling by yourself, you can either wear a ring, or if somebody asks you if you're alone, then you could just say no. Quickly say no. You're meeting up with friends. Just casually. Especially if it's like someone who, like an Uber driver or a taxi driver, who will know where you're staying. They will know your address. So you might want to not say, hey, I'm alone, all alone here. It's good to say you're meeting up with people. A third one is to walk with confidence. So if you get lost and you know where you're going, you don't know the way, just walk with confidence, head off. Even if you make a wrong turn, you have no clue where you're at, walk with confidence until you get to like a public area, like a restaurant or, something like this. And then you can ask for directions. So those are just like quick tips. They're like simple things that you can do that really enhances and increases, how safe you are when you're traveling by yourself. And it really makes it easier for you to, have more fun on your solo trip. See you next week. Bye.